Hi guys, I'm Bri.
And I'm Alli. This is Offscript.
If you think about it, books are potential scripts for movies.
When this adaptation happens, typically it's disappointing because they went off script.
In this series, we will be talking about how off script they went. Hello.
Hi, everybody.
Welcome
To Offscript,
a podcast.
where we are vampires.
Wow, this is released.
The end of August. It's your birthday week, but you just turned.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought this was coming out right before I was turning it. I didn't realize it was going out after.
I mean,
Gross, guys. It sucks. Don't get 31.
don't get 31.
Yeah,
Don't do it.
Don't get it.
I've enjoyed 31. You have
enjoyed
not?
all of it.
I know.
I don't know. First off, it's only 3 days. Second off, we're recording it 3 months. 3 months, 2 months. Oh my God.
Oh, gosh.
Actually, no, it's been fantastic because Sierra is still here.
There you go.
Mm-hmm.
Your bestie.
She will be leaving tomorrow. Too short already.
2 months in advance.
She keeps sending me little this is how many days. This is how many days.
How cute.
Yeah, because she has a countdown. And so she'll send me it and be like, look, well under 2 months now.
That's fun.
Yeah, I'm excited.
Good.
Mm-hmm.
I know. So what are your plans, or what do you think we did for your birthday?
Oh, we played Mock. We played Mocks. We went to Mocks and we played Mansions.
Yeah.
Yeah. Me and Sierra got tattoos. Hopefully.
You'll have to post a picture if
Yeah.
you did.
Yeah. And then yesterday we maybe did a Mount Rainier hike. And Sierra surprised me. I was not expecting her to say this was something she wanted to do. But Saturday night, we went to the Rocky Horror Picture Show.
Wow. You
Yeah.
had a great birthday week.
Yeah, I think so. But yeah. And we finally beat a level of Mansions of
Okay, our goal is to do that when we go to Westport.
Yes. That's our goal.
To have
when
done
we go
that.
in Westport or my birthday. Otherwise, our episode in season 4. We'll go back and tell. No, our mini-sode.
Oh my gosh.
Guys, we're trying to get so far ahead that in August, we're probably going to be recording the next season or close to the next season.
That's our goals.
Mm-hmm.
But that's also why we are still doing mini-sodes this season. So tune in this week, possibly. I don't know, with Sierra here, we might skip this week's mini-sode.
We'll skip it.
Well, then tune in next week to figure out if all of our predictions came true.
Yeah. Did we win? Did I get tattoos?
Did you go to Rocky Horror?
Hell yeah, I did. That one I'm not. That one I've got a plan. Sierra cannot stay up late, so our plan is to go see a movie in the day so that Sierra can nap so that she can last, because Rocky starts at midnight. So
All right. Well, then come take a listen, not this week,
next week.
to our mini-sode and hear all about it.
And maybe I do like being 31. Who knows?
Guess you'll find out.
Yeah. Right now, on this side of it, no.
I want to know if our timeline confuses you guys as much as it confuses us, because it's hard, especially when we go back and forth of talking in the future and then pretending that it's already been the future. And oh gosh,
I love it. I think it's hilarious.
I think it's fun. All right. Anyways, so we're on episode 4 this season, and we're going to talk about The Fault in Our Stars.
Mm-hmm. Yes, we are.
Do it. All right. Our synopsis. 16-year-old Hazel is diagnosed with cancer. She joins a support group where she meets Augustus. And there is a roller coaster of emotions as the relationship between Hazel and Augustus develops.
You kept this one because it said the roller coaster, didn't you?
No, I legit just copy-pasted, and I was like, that matches both.
Oh, I thought you kept that because you knew that I liked that.
Nope. I
Forgot.
did.
Okay.
Okay, The author was John Green, or is John Green. Director, Josh Boone. Screenplay writer, Scott. What?
For some reason, I thought we did producer on this, and I was so excited to be like, did you know? So I'm just going to do it here.
Okay.
Did you know that the producer of this is Wick Godfrey? Do you know who that is?
Sounds familiar.
He produced all of Twilight.
Wow.
Yeah. So this was his next big thing after Twilight. And I was like, yes, Wick, yes.
Okay, cool. Anyways, so screenplay writer was Scott
Neustadter. What's funny is we've had him before.
Have we?
Yeah, and I had to say his name for you.
Thanks.
Yeah.
And Michael H. Weber. An audiobook reader was Kate Rudd. I really liked her. She did a very, very good job.
My brain just like, I was like, I know her because I know Paul Rudd.
Yep.
I was like, wait, I don't know Kate Rudd.
She was fun. I liked listening to that one.
Nice.
Yeah. The book came out January 10th, 2012. Movie June 6th, 2014. And that was 6 months before my wedding. Anyways.
Like, my favorite part about this is you had to count when it's literally at the halfway mark.
I know.
Of the year.
I know. I was like, wait a second. Okay, anyways, that's a 2-year difference. Okay. So this is going to be interesting. What did you read or watch first?
Yeah, this is hard for me. I was realizing this because as I was reading it, because in my head, I've read it first because I did technically read the book before I saw the movie. But then it clicked that what made me want to read the book was that I read the script. So did I see the movie first, technically? I don't know. What do you think?
That's so hard.
Uh-huh.
Because it's almost like
I already knew it was coming.
you already knew it was coming, which is kind of the point
Yeah,
of
doing it first.
Yeah. And while you didn't see the acting or anything, you knew all about the story.
Yeah, the differences too, yeah.
So I almost say you watched it first.
Yeah.
We'll put a little asterisk next to it.
Yeah.
Watched.
Yeah, 'cause that's a very strange, like, I love that I had that opportunity, but also
I know.
now that I'm doing this, I'm like, ooh.
Which one?
Okay.
Well, I read it first.
Mm-hmm.
We'll go easy that way.
Now that we've read it, what were your initial thoughts?
This is my favorite book. We have done all of Offscript.
Mm-hmm. Doesn't surprise me.
I loved it so much.
Mm-hmm.
I just love the characters and everything.
Book. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
This is my introduction to John Green. Literally after I read this book, I went and bought not all of his other books, but I bought, I think 2 of them. And then, I think Paper Towns is when I started to slow down because Paper Towns is my least favorite. And I was like, But then I read another one and I was like, oh no, that was just a weird random one-off. And then they turned it into a movie.
Okay. So why did we... Wait, you didn't share your opinions.
Well, I mean,
I guess you kind of did.
yeah, I just said it was my first intro to John Green and I loved it so much I bought his other books.
Oh, yeah, I guess so. Okay. Fair. Why'd we pick this book?
Because it's my birthday month and I wanted to make myself ball. No. It's my party and I'll cry if I want to.
Cry if I want to.
No. It's definitely one of my top favorite books. It is. I should take a picture of my book. I should show you my book right now. It is a well-loved book. Like, I want all my favorite books to look like how The Fault in Our Stars looks because you can tell it's been read and loved and not beat up like Bad Mother's Handbook where there's a cut out of it or anything like that. But it's definitely like I'm able to open the book and it'll just lay like that because the spine is basically broken to where it just stays open for you. So I had to put it in somewhere. I I wasn't worried about Allie reading it, but I knew it was really sad, so I didn't want to put it with other sad stuff.
Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah. Could you imagine doing this after Two Kisses for Maddie or something?
Oh, no. Could you?
No.
You had much more of an emotional
No. I could
roller coaster
Are
with this
you
than I did.
freaking kidding me? I would not be able to. This every time, guys, this is my 5th read through and I bawl just as hard as if it were my first time. Every time I get to the same spot, I'm like, you know it's coming. Why are you crying this hard? Because I was hoping this time it would be different.
Oh my gosh. The words magically change. Oh my gosh.
So that's why I picked this one. Okay. Mm-hmm. And I realized I hate myself for how I like scheduled them.
Uh-huh.
And I know what you're going to say. You're going to be like, well, Bri, it's before release. You can just change them. And I'm like, no, I've fiddled with the schedule too many times. But I feel kind of sad that this is the one that's coming out on my birthday week.
I was actually going to say that since we're recording this one before Bad Mothers, I was like, well, we could make it episode 3.
I know. Well, what's funny is I knew you were going to say that too. But no, I think it offsets well.
Okay.
With everything. Because what? Gatsby, Practical Magic.
Bad Mothers.
And then this. No, I think I want to end on one that I know for sure you like.
Okay.
I don't want you bad mouthing my shit to end.
Oh, like you
My
did
month.
with my birthday month? Every single one of mine?
What's funny is the girl that I babysit, she told me that this week is their last week of school, and she was excited because it's all very mellow stuff. And on Monday, what they're doing is watching a movie. I was like, oh, cool. What movie are you watching? And she goes, Holes. And I was like, oh, fun. And she's like, we read the book. And I was like,
Her teacher is me.
and she is me.
I didn't have one kid hate the book in my class, though. Like, everyone was so into it. So, unless they were all very good actors, but they were 4th graders. So,
It could have just also been like, yes, we don't have to work. Miss Allie's reading it for us. And then we get to watch the movie.
man, I was such a good teacher.
As we were just talking about.
Oh, gosh. All right.
Okay.
Well, are we ready for some super fun facts?
Yeah.
Okay. So, at the end of the audiobook was an interview with John Green, so I listened to a little bit of it. I didn't listen to too much, but
Cool, because that's in the book too.
the interview?
Yeah.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, then did you read this part then? So, John Green says when his fans ask him what happens to characters at the end of the story, he answers kind of like Peter Van Houten does, but he says nicer.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't think much of them after the story ends.
Mm-hmm. The one that I read that got me was a fan asked, what did they ask? It was something about like, are you okay with fans calling Hazel Grace, or is that an Augustus thing? Like, is that off limits? And his response was, I've seen fans who will get on other fans when they try to say Hazel Grace and be like, you can't say that. That's just Augustus. And it makes me bawl. I'm like, oh.
Why? Why, like, do people get pissed at each other for stuff like that?
Because they're dumb.
Okay.
But it was his nickname for her.
I mean, I guess, but oh my gosh. People are so dumb. Okay. Anyways.
Well, I thought that was his sweet response from him.
Okay, I guess. I was just more thrown off by the fact that people are stupid out there. Goodness me.
How are you thrown off by that? We know this. People
I know,
are
but
stupid.
I've never heard of someone getting upset about, like I've heard of people getting upset about other book stuff, but about a nickname being called, I'm like, why the heck doesn't it matter? Oh my gosh. People are going to come after me,
Uh-huh.
I don't even care. I stand my ground.
Do it.
Okay. Number 2. Nat Wolff wore blinding contacts, which blurred his vision to better portray his role as Isaac.
That's cute. I like that a lot, actually.
Yeah,
I didn't even know that they had blinding contacts.
I did not either.
Damn, how annoying would that be? Contacts alone are annoying. And then imagine putting it in to make you blind.
Yeah, that would suck. No
Yeah.
thanks. All right. Author John Green based his character Hazel on a young fan he met named how do you say that?
Esther.
Esther?
Mm-hmm.
I know that's how everybody whose name is Esther is spelled, but there's this guy on TikTok I watch sometimes, and he's just like words in the English language that are just stupid because they aren't spelled right.
Yep.
Esther, your name is one of them. I'm so sorry.
You say this and she dies.
Oh shit, I forgot. I was just talking about every Esther out there, not her specifically. I got bad mouthing the dead. Oh, speaking of, I have to read this. Okay. I'm on a widow group on Facebook. And tomorrow, as we're recording, is Father's Day.
Yes.
Okay. Okay, let me find it. So the person says, "Okay, please laugh with me. My youngest made a card for Father's Day for her dad. I was expecting some heartstring tugging emotion, only to read this. The front of the card says, 'Happy Father's Day, dead dad.' And then the inside says, 'You are dead. You are probably being eaten by bugs. You are probably stink really bad.' P.S. Chevy died." I don't know who that is. Maybe it's their cat or something. I was like, oh my gosh.
You probably stink really bad.
Oh no. Anyways, that was me getting over. You can't be mad at me, Esther. I'm sorry. Okay, let's try number 3 again. Author John Green based his character Hazel on a young girl named Esther Earl who was diagnosed with thyroid cancer. Green met her during a Harry Potter convention in 2009, noticing her carrying an oxygen tank. He came to like her because of some of the videos she put on YouTube, as well as her humor and openness. From time to time, they met. Oh my gosh. From the time they met to her death at the age of 16 in 2010, Green and Earl would exchange correspondence.
That's so sweet.
I know.
Yeah, in the back of the book in the interview, he said that he tried to write this book like 3 or 4 times before he finally got to what he wanted.
Yep. Aw.
Mm-hmm.
All right, number 4. Shailene Woodley insisted that her friend Ansel, is that how you say it?
I like that you just skip his last name.
Elgort.
Oh, there you go.
Did I say it? Okay.
Elgort. Mm-hmm.
Read not just the script, but also the novel before his first meeting. So her friend, that means they must have done Divergent first.
Before. Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Not just the script, but also the novel before meeting with the filmmakers. I thought if I tell her I haven't read it, she'd be mad during our audition, and it would be a mess. Elgort recalls, so I literally just read it for Shailene.
Aww. That's hilarious.
Oh, well, I'm glad she made him read it. I really think if you're in a movie based on a book,
read the book.
You got to read the book.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah, you would hope. Although I do also think that some actors don't because they want to go in with their take of the character rather than the author's take of the character, which I could also see. But
yeah, but it's not theirs.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Oh,
but that's also a very Gus thing of him to do.
Yes. Yes. I forgot I have 7 because there was a couple good ones.
Okay.
Okay. Soon after the films were released, the street bench, which Gus and Hazel had their embrace on, was stolen. A few months later, it was replaced by the city of Amsterdam. Since the film's release, the bench has quickly become something of a landmark for fans of the film. So they go there and they take pictures.
I don't want to go there and cry.
Well, then don't.
Why would they want their picture there? That's where everything gets stolen. Look, I'm gonna cry.
Oh, my word. Oh. All right. 6. In Gus's room, a sign of a car about to hit a cow with the word beware can be seen. This is related to Paper Towns.
Yeah, that makes sense now.
Yeah.
Funny.
And then cameo, John Green, is the father of the blonde girl talking to Shailene's character at the airport.
What's funny is I knew that, but I didn't when I was watching this watch through because I sat there and I watched and I was like, why? There's something important in this scene and I can't remember what it is. And I sat there and I'm like watching the interaction with the kid and watching Shailene. I'm like, there's something here. I'm
There you go.
John Green.
Perfect. All right. Ready?
Yes.
All right. So the book kicks off. We find out that Hazel is 16 years old and she has cancer. Her mom encourages her to go to support group, even though she doesn't like to do it. And finally, she goes one time and there's a new boy there in the support group. And he's only there to support his friend Isaac, because we find out that his name is Augustus Waters and he had cancer, but he's doing grand now. And Hazel and him hit it off. And after group, she sees him put a cigarette in his mouth and she freaks out at him because her cancer was thyroid and now it's in her lungs. And she's like, that's like, why? And he turns out he's never lit one. It's simply a metaphor. And
you put the killing thing between your teeth.
Yeah. And she decides to hang out with him and go see a movie because he's like, you've never seen this movie? Let's go see it.
Well, he said that she looks like a 2016 Natalie Portman. And so they go to watch V for Vendetta.
This probably wasn't 2016 because this movie came out in 2014.
Oh, yeah, 2012.
This book came out in 2012.
Oh, and V for Vendetta came out in high school.
I think it was like 2003.
2006 Natalie Portman is what he says.
Okay.
I had the 6 in there. The movie does fairly well. Things are just kind of jumbled. So I'm just
like slightly changed. Like it's her doctor that encourages her to go to support group but
yeah. And like, I think to get her dad in it more, he got some of her mom's lines from the book too. In the movie, the main difference out of this first part that Alli said is that in the book, Isaac and Hazel are basically like, they feel like best friends in this support group. They sit together, they make jokes the whole time. In the movie, they don't sit next to each other and they're not making jokes. They're just like in the circle together, but not close to each other. And Augustus is also not sitting next to Isaac, which I thought was funny.
Yeah, huh?
Yeah. And Augustus and Hazel have a cute little like run-in with each other before. And then Hazel's like, ooh, and she goes to the bathroom and freshens up.
Yep. So on their way to Gus's house, he sucks at driving because we find out he has a prosthetic leg due to his cancer. And they get to his house and his parents are super likable. And they watch a movie and chat. And they figure out each other's favorite book. But Hazel didn't want to tell him at first, but she ended up telling him. And they agreed to read each other's books before contacting each other again. And we learned that Hazel's backstory with her cancer and how she had stage 4 3 years ago. But she got better miraculously. But it's only a matter of time before she goes.
Yes.
She passes away. Is that better?
The backstory in the book is all inner monologue. And in the movie, she tells Gus about her cancer. Because, like, in the book, she goes to start telling Gus, but Gus cuts her off right away and goes, no. I don't want to know that story. I want to know about you. Like, tell me about you. I get why they changed that in the movie, because how else are they going to tell us about Hazel's cancer? But I'm sure they could have got around it.
Yeah.
Because I like that Gus was like, I don't want to, like, I know you have cancer, but I don't want my image of you to be just that.
Right. Because she did tell him in the book about her cancer, just like not as detailed as they did in the movie.
Oh, and the other thing that I just make note of here is that in the book, the parents don't want the kids to go down into the basement to watch the movie.
It was cute.
I
love that Gus is like trying and his dad's like, nah, nice try.
You can show her, but you gotta come back up. In the movie, they just let him go and hang out downstairs. I also thought it was funny too, because when they get downstairs and she has to like sit down, she like explains to him like, sorry, the cancer makes it hard for me to breathe. I get that was mostly for us, but like in the book, she didn't care. She just like stopped, sat down, and was like, "Yep, okay."
Yeah, yeah. Gus's parents are pretty much non-existent in the movie.
Mm-hmm.
Like they come in the end, and that's about it.
Mm-hmm. And this scene where they go to the house and you meet them, and then they're gone.
Right, but they were like,
not there.
no. We learn about Hazel's favorite book, and what is it called? Affliction, something.
An Imperial Affliction.
Okay. And how it is also about a cancer patient, and it has so many unanswered questions though, because the book ends in the middle of a sentence because the main character supposedly dies, and that's why.
Here is a testament to John Green's writing. Do you know how badly I want to read An Imperial Affliction? A made-up book that doesn't exist. I need him to write that one for me.
You should be like, hey, can you just write this book?
And so you talked about it a lot. You obviously know what's happening with Sisyphus the hamster. I need to know about all this. It sounds like my kind of book. And then I'll bawl my eyes out at the end of that book too.
Okay, so Gus keeps messaging her with all his reactions to this book. And then Gus calls when he's finished with it. He's like, oh my gosh, it can't be done, blah, 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 blah. But she was in a movie with her mom. And then she hears crying, and it turns out Isaac's girlfriend broke up with him. Because earlier, I forgot to say, when they left group, like, him and his girlfriend are just making out and saying, always, always, and they just love each other so much.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So this happens. They do the switch of the books because Hazel reads his favorite book and he reads her favorite book. And the big difference here is Hazel is supposed to reach out to Gus first with her reactions to the book. So she reads the book that he gives to her and then realizes it's in a series, and she starts to read the other ones. So once she's kind of like in that, then she texts him or she calls him. I can't remember what she does, but she then reaches out to him. In the movie, she's like waiting for him and keeps
I
checking
did
her
not
phone.
like that at all.
I know. I was like, that's
like,
not how she is.
Gus wouldn't do that either.
Yeah, no.
He wanted to text her like immediately, and she's like, no, you have to finish the book. He's like, when are we going to see each other? No, you have to finish the book first.
I know. Well, one of my favorite things too is, because she tells him, she's like, I'll call you when I finish the book. And he's like, how are you going to call me? You don't have my number. And she's like, I suspect you put it in your book. And he's like, look, you already know me.
Exactly. And so I did not like that in the movie at all.
Yeah.
Okay, so Hazel goes to Gus's house, and it turns out that Monica broke up with Isaac because Isaac is about to get surgery. He already has one glass eye, but he's about to get surgery to make him fully blind. And Gus shares that as Isaac's sobbing and destroying all of Gus's
basketball
trophies.
My favorite part of the book, and I thought it was going to get taken out of the movie, so I was really glad that it didn't.
You thought it was going to get taken out of the movie? You read the movie first.
Oh, yeah. Well then, never mind.
Okay. Anyways, so they're letting him destroy everything, and then they just get in a conversation about Peter Van Houten. How do you say it? Houten. Holton. And they're just talking about how, I emailed him and all this sort of stuff. And so then, what's his name? What's her name? Hazel got the email too, so she could email him.
Oh, the main thing here is that Gus is talking to Hazel before he tells her about the email. And he's like, we have so many unanswered questions, and starts listing off questions. And they were all her questions from the book. And I was like, okay.
Oh, yeah. Okay. So Hazel emails Peter Van Houten, and he responds and says, you have great questions, but I can't answer them over email. If you find yourself in Amsterdam, please stop by, blah, 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 blah. And so she's like, oh my gosh.
Gave away part of what happens.
I mean, we're going to talk about it.
I know. I almost was like, sure, that's what he means.
Yes. But so, she calls Gus and is like all excited. And he's like, use your wish from Genie, not make a wish. And she's like, I can't. I already used it. And he's like, oh my gosh, you went to Disneyland, didn't you? And so that's a fun little thing they get at each other about.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's cute too, because this is also when Gus first tells Hazel he's got a crush on her.
Yes. And so then Gus then plans a date because Hazel asks her mom, can we please go? And, you know, they can't because
Financially.
how much money it costs for all Hazel's medical stuff and everything.
Could you imagine trying to find all that stuff to go to? They had to find like oxygen tanks and stuff, all paying for all of that alone.
Yeah. Gus comes and takes her on a date, and it's all things related to Amsterdam, like orange stuff and basketball guy from Amsterdam or what? Some type of sport.
Yes,
sports
a
teams,
Dutch
things.
A Dutch basketball player.
Okay, and all sorts of stuff. And all right, turns out Gus spoke to the people at Genie, the Wish place, and they are setting up a trip for him and Hazel to go to Amsterdam together. And Gus goes and touches her cheek, and she tenses up. Guys, it's like I have freaking Invisalign in today. But I am freaking.
Wow. Her cheek.
I have the worst lisp right now. Okay.
I've given you my lisp.
Yes, apparently. So she tenses up, and she doesn't want someone to fall in love with her because she's going to die. Like, she doesn't want to hurt somebody. And after their date, is this when she finds out about Gus's old girlfriend?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we find out that Gus had a girlfriend. Just kidding. I say that at the bottom here. Hang on. Let me go in order of my stuff. So after their date, she told her mom, and they were hesitant at first, her mom and dad, but they agree, and her mom gets really excited. And she talks to her friend Caitlin, and she knows Gus, and she thinks he's mighty attractive. And Caitlin, for some reason, has a British accent that don't know why. She just wants to.
Yes.
And we find out now that Gus was in a relationship with someone who died with brain cancer. And Hazel's really nervous because she's starting to ache everywhere. But she decided to look up this former girlfriend, and everybody's saying all their well wishes and how wonderful she is all over her social medias.
Girlfriend is non-existent in the movie.
Yep.
The date does happen, but one of my favorite things in the book is that when Gus is waiting to take Hazel on the date, Hazel and her mom are out somewhere, and he calls her, and it's like, Hazel Grace, are you at home? And she goes, no. And he goes, well, I know that because I'm here and you're not here.
Yes. Yeah, I didn't like that she was coming home from a doctor appointment because that was in the book. She was like, okay, I just got to get through this because in a couple days I'm going to the doctor to get a scan.
Mm-hmm.
And so in the book, or in the movie, that's where she was coming home from.
Mm-hmm.
And don't you think at the scan they would figure out that what's about to happen?
Yeah, you'd think. I didn't even think about that.
Like, what?
Wow, her doctors suck. I also here made a note because one of my favorite parts in the movie is, because this happens later. Because now she knows about the girlfriend. Anyways, during the date is when we get Gus's Venn diagram of virgins.
Uh-huh.
Because she's surprised that he's a virgin still. And so he draws her a circle that's the male populace of virgins. And then he draws an even smaller circle and says 17-year-old dudes with one leg. In the movie, they changed their ages.
I know. Why?
She's 17 and he's 18. I do not know why. Oh, no, I know why. What? I always forget until the scene at the end where he's going to buy cigarettes for himself.
Oh, yeah. He has to be 18.
You have to be 18 to cigarettes. Yeah. So,
That makes sense.
yeah. I have a feeling probably at some point you could be 17, but I bet you the age difference changed. But it's still, I don't like it. I wish they kept their ages the same. But I do love that they kept the Venn diagram.
Yep.
Because Hazel also then does her Venn diagram later.
Yes. All right. So she messages Gus explaining about her fears of them falling in love with each other. And then they flirt a bit, and she wakes up and she's in extreme pain. I love the flirty or the text message bubbles in the movie.
Yeah, they're written.
So cute.
Yeah, I like them too.
So it turns out she had a bunch of water in her lungs, and so they ran to the hospital, which in the movie the hospital should have figured out already.
They should have kept her there after the scan.
Yes.
Maybe.
So they took care of her. Gus is in the waiting room for her, and she requested he not see her like this. And Hazel then has a meeting with all her doctors after she was released and like came back and all this sort of stuff. And they don't agree. One says, yeah, you can go to Amsterdam. Another says no. And so her parents are like, we are not going to do it until all the doctors are on the same page. So she's sobbing for Gus and she wants him to come over.
She doesn't want him to come over.
That's when she calls him over for the swing set.
No, he tells her he's coming over because of the swing set.
Okay, well, in the end, he comes over. She's sitting there
Guys,
crying.
What happens is she's crying and he's like, why are you crying? And she's like, I'm looking at a nostalgic something of swing set. And he's like, well, I must see this. I'm coming over.
She basically was inviting him over without inviting him over. She invited him over. You know for a fact she's calling him sobbing is her saying, I need a boy to come, the boy I have a crush on to come be with me right now. Why would she call him?
Because he's someone who's been through it.
Yeah, and you want that person there with you. I'm standing by it. She wanted him to come over.
My notes here are that I really like Hazel's house. I like their layout. Like, I like that there's two separate stairs. But also, why does Hazel have a set of stairs, like an extra set of stairs to get up into her room when stairs are hard for her? But anyway, I like the layout.
Probably her room for when she was a kid and she doesn't want to change it.
That makes sense. But I like their house layout. In the movie, all of her doctors are against her going to Amsterdam. She's the one who then is like, well, we could do this and we could do this and we can figure it out.
I didn't think, was it Dr. Maria? Is that her name?
Yeah.
She wasn't hardcore against it. I didn't feel like she was, but she didn't step into.
Yeah. Like in the book, she was like, well, there's oxygen tanks on airplanes. There's
everything that Hazel says.
In the movie. She says in the book.
Yeah.
Dr. Maria says in the book. And then in the movie, Hazel hardcore ignores Gus because she's the grenade and she doesn't want to explode on him. And then she calls and tells him about the swing set and he demands to come and see the swing set.
Swing sweat?
Yep. And then they swing.
Yeah, it's BS. Because what they're supposed to do is make this amazing, I don't know if it was Craigslist, but it was
like a Facebook buy nothing page.
Yes. To sell this swing set.
Mm-hmm. And it was hilarious.
It was the best written, most fun advertisement ever. Never sold it.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, whatever.
I did like Ansel's acting in the swing set scene because this is where Hazel tells him that she's a grenade. In the movie and the book, he already knows what's coming. And so she says something about being a grenade and he goes, a grenade. And how he does it is like, for people who haven't seen or read the book, you think he's just taking in what she's saying about herself. But for people who have read and seen the book and movie, you know that he's like, oof, actually, spoiler alert, guys, he's the grenade. And I realized that this watch through and I was like, oh, you did that very well because I wouldn't have caught that.
I did not catch it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
It's because with this book and movie, usually when I read the book, I wait a little bit before I watch the movie, but I watched it the next day after I had finished it. And so like knowing, because later on in the book, you find out that when he was there at the ICU to see Hazel, he was there because he was getting his scan. And so in the movie, when I was watching it this time, in my head when he was at the ICU, I was like, and that's when I started crying.
Yeah.
So then I watched it knowing you already know what's coming. And then I saw that and I was like, oh,
Got it.
poor kid.
Okay, so she's like on her computer and she gets an email from Van Houten's assistant.
Sorry, where are we?
Right in the middle of this one.
Right here. Sorry.
Yes. And it's like, we can't wait to see you in Amsterdam. And she's like, Mom, did you contact the people? And she's like, oh, you're supposed to wait till your father was here. But we're going. And she's like, yay. And then she went and hung out with Isaac for a little bit. And they were testing out his voice-acted video games.
I wish we saw that in the
I
movie
know.
because it sounded like it might be kind of boring for someone who's not blind, but I think I would have so much fun with it.
It would be fun.
Okay. Turn right. Run into the wall.
Exactly.
The email part happened. Yes.
Okay.
The video games with Isaac did not.
Yes. So Hazel and her mom are getting ready for Amsterdam, and they go to pick up Gus, but they hear him like yelling and crying from inside his house, saying it's like his life, he can do what he wants, blah 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 blah. And they're like, this is awkward. So they go and sit in their car and wait. And he comes out like nothing happened. He's like, let's go to Amsterdam. And they're watching a movie on the plane together, and Gus told her that he loves her, and when she didn't respond, he kind of just was like, okay, when he looks out the window. And I don't know, the plane had a lot of cute moments on it, but
did you pick up on the fact that his movie ended before hers because he dies first?
wow, symbolism.
Meanwhile,
I'm like, when she said, I think he fell asleep, I'm like,
he's
oh my
dead.
gosh, he died. And from here on out, I thought every like
Small thing
was Gus was gonna die. Like
Yeah.
I thought he was just gonna abruptly die, apparently, because I was like, he's taking forever to come out of his hotel room. He's laying there dead, or like he's just gonna collapse on the street and die. It was like I was just like waiting for him to just ticking time bomb. It was much different.
No, it was. Yeah. No, he did it very, very well because apparently when I was reading the script, I really thought she was going to die. I was getting prepared for her to die. And then it was him. And I was like, wow, this made it worse. I already knew she was dying. There's no argument in the movie. He picks him up in the limo.
I know. I thought that was really cute.
It was, but also you get away because if you catch it when you're reading the book, that's definitely your first hint of, hey,
Yeah,
Gus is the one that's about to be. But
I know. So I watched this with my mom, and she's like, "Ah," and I'm just sitting there like, "Wait, what? No, wait, what?" So like, she's like, "That's such a cute thing to do," and I'm like, "But it's so wrong."
you're like, but this was supposed to be your first hint
I
that
know.
he's about to die.
I think my theory of why they didn't put that hint in there
Yeah.
is because they had the hint at the very beginning of Hazel laying on the grass,
Yeah.
and like sharing her like sad like, but it doesn't work out that way type of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think that was our hint for movie.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it also makes sense because that would very much be hitting people over the head if
Yes.
it were in the movie. I'm glad it's not in the movie, but also.
All right. So,
Oh, and on the airplane, Hazel kisses Gus's cheek.
but it's a platonic friendship kiss.
Mm-hmm. And in the book, he's the one that kisses her cheek. And she's like, Gus. And he goes, no, look. And then he goes and gives her mom a kiss on the cheek, too.
Yep. It's very cute. All right. So they land and they go to their hotel, and Gus and Hazel get to go out on a date.
Aww.
And they were served champagne, and they spoke about Gus's relationship and how her brain tumor ended up making her a really horrible person. Like, she would make fun of his prosthetic leg all the time and all this sort of stuff. But, like, how do you break up with someone when you know it's the cancer doing that to them?
Mm-hmm.
And so he didn't break up with her, and he just waited till she died. It's, like, super depressing.
Yeah.
Like, you're just sitting there, like, feeling
today the day?
horrible because you're hoping.
Yeah.
But then...
Also, it's someone that you loved at one point.
Yeah. Ugh, that'd be horrible.
Yeah. In the movie, Hazel's mom brings her dress. In the book, it was actually the dress that she decided she wanted to wear it to meet Peter, but then was like, oh, we're going out on a date. I guess I'll wear it tonight. I really liked when they got to the restaurant that Gus could not pronounce orangey. He was like, orange, orange, or here we are. And then in the book, Hazel is a vegetarian, and Gus remembered that. In the movie, she is not a vegetarian.
Nope. I also pictured them like outside on the patio, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
They were supposed to be. They were supposed to be by the canal. That was
okay,
my next
but
one,
the
actually.
restaurant looked gorgeous, and I would love to eat there one day.
Oh yeah, the food looked really good too.
It did.
Also, this part makes, like, when I was watching the movie this time, you'll see in my reaction videos tomorrow, everybody, and you'll see when you watch them.
Mm-hmm.
It hit me because he tells, she asks him if his suit is his funeral suit that he goes to for all the kids who have died with cancer. And then he explains, no, this was actually the suit that I bought when I thought I was going to die. Like when I first got diagnosed with cancer.
Mm-hmm.
And then watching this go through, it hit me. I was like, oh my God, you're wearing it and you know you're about to die. And that made me cry so hard.
Oh my gosh. Okay, let's keep going.
Yeah.
I'm
just waiting for you.
Okay. So finally it's the day they're gonna go meet Peter Van Houten, and Hazel dresses as the main character of his book, and she's like, it'll be funny, because her mom's like, I don't get it at all.
Mm-hmm.
And it turns out he didn't even know they were really coming. Like, he opens the door and he shuts it, and he's like, there are 2 Americans on my doorstep, and he's yelling to his assistant to get rid of them. And she's like, no, and she ushers them in, and it turns out he's like a super drunk, and he's super rude, and he's like calling out all their like cancerness.
Mm-hmm.
And Hazel stands up for herself and Gus and demands answers to the questions. She's like, you said if we came, we got answers. And he's just a jerk. And the more rude things he says, his assistant finally quits.
Mm-hmm.
And then she's like, let's go explore the Netherlands. And they go explore.
In the movie, on their way to Peter's place, they take a bus. And my biggest question here is, why are they standing? Hazel has a hard time standing. She should be sitting, but yet she's on this bus standing.
You would think one of the
people there would see it too. Like, oh, you have an oxygen tank here. Have my seat.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was like, okay, whatever. It's so that they could be all cute together standing, but
I guess.
Yeah. In the movie, his assistant answers the door and Peter's just not there. But then he is rude. Another difference here, because when he's being rude to them, he turns on rap music, Swedish rap music for them to listen to. So then they end up just like yelling over the music. The music never gets turned off. In the movie, Gus stands up and angrily turns off the music and it's like, dude, stop. You need to talk to us. Like,
I was glad he turned it off, because they talked for a second over it. I was like, oh my gosh, I can't hear anything they're saying. Thank goodness for subtitles.
And then, and the assistant did not quit. She just left and was like, let's go.
You're right. I didn't catch that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So they decide to go explore, and they go to the Anne Frank house, and which I, for some reason, did not know was in the Netherlands, and now I want to go.
I've always wanted to go, but
I've always
did you wanted to go before you knew where it was?
To the Anne Frank house?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've always wanted to go there. Okay. I didn't know it was in the Netherlands, so now I want to go to the Netherlands.
Yeah.
Is what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm. I'm actually pretty positive. Remember how in the questions that we just answered in when we went to Browsers.
Uh-huh.
The one where it was like, has a book made you want to go somewhere? And I was like, Amsterdam.
Yeah.
This is why, because I want to go to the Anne Frank house.
I really want to go. Anyway, so they had to go up these steep stairs, which were basically ladders. And both Hazel and Gus, freaking Gus has a prosthetic leg. Hazel's lungs suck.
Mm-hmm.
But she's like, no, I can do it. I can do it. And I remember watching it with Mom. Because, you watch her struggle. There's like 3 different stairs.
Mm-hmm.
And the last one's a legit ladder. And my mom's like, oh, is there even anything really worth it up there? I was like, Mom, that's the whole point of the house. And she's like, I mean, I know, but like, she's dying. I was like, the whole reason they are there is up that ladder. She's like, she was just like, so
this poor girl.
She was like, that poor girl. Oh my gosh, she doesn't need to. I'm like, oh my gosh, Mom.
What's funny is because reading it, you get the commentary that's going through her head about like, man, if Anne Frank did what she did, I can climb these stairs.
Yeah.
Like, it sucks right now, but Anne Frank went through worse.
Exactly.
In the movie, you just see her dying.
Yes, it is. Yeah, I guess that's very true. Anyways, so they go up the stairs and then they're watching the video of Anne Frank's dad, the only survivor of 7 kids. Oh my gosh. And spouse too, right? Yeah. And so Gus and Hazel just like start making out. No, it's just like a romantic first kiss, but I mean, they do it for a while. And everyone starts clapping for them because they're like, oh, the 2 cancer kids made it up the ladder. It's such sweet love. I really didn't get the clapping at all.
I don't get the clapping either.
I think it's freaking awkward as all crap.
If anyone clapped for me after kiss, I'd be like, nope.
Especially in the freaking Anne Frank house.
I do think it's probably because Anne Frank's house is such a sad, depressing place. It's probably nice to see happiness there. So that might be why they clap, but also no.
Yeah, I'm hoping also it was clapping for like, oh my gosh, we thought this girl was going to die on the stairs and she made it. And now like, she's happy.
Oh, that could be it too. Yeah.
I don't know. It was weird.
I know. I always thought it was weird too. I was like, okay, whatever.
Especially for their first kiss. Could you imagine? Like, it's already awkward. First kisses are awkward.
Louise, yeah.
And now people are clapping for you.
I'd be like, cool, we're never kissing again.
That was weird. But then they go back to Gus's room and they have sex for the first time. And I really appreciate John Green and how he wrote it because they're teenagers. And so he was very much like, it happened. Like, he didn't go into detail about it. So I thought that was...
I also have to say, John Green writes females well. And he tells stories from a female perspective well. Because, like, how he handled that. One of my favorite lines in that is she has this quick, simple thought of, my bra does not match my underwear, but oh well. I was like, it's like small facts like that really help the female audience be like, yes, I feel that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yep. How'd the movie do?
My note here is I want to go to the Anne Frank house.
Okay.
Basically everything else happens.
Oh, Gus did say about his leg.
Oh, yeah, he got all weird, and Hazel thought that, like, maybe she was going too fast. She was like, oh, shoot, I should slow this down. But then he, like, starts telling her, like, it kind of tapers off after the knee.
Yeah, because he was telling her outside his hotel room in the book. He's, like, just standing there fumbling with his keys. She's like, oh, my gosh, she's trying to tell me how to, like, go away, blah, blah, blah. In the movie, they were already making out and, like, taking each other's clothes off when he said it.
Yeah. Yeah, they were in the bed.
I liked it in the book because it seemed more real, like someone who really would be concerned about that. That would be their first thought.
Yeah, yeah.
So Hazel's mom said she was going to go take a walk and let the 2 of them talk, and she looked at Gus like she knew something. And Gus and Hazel went on a walk, and he let her know that his cancer was back, and it was really bad.
Lit up like a Christmas tree. Hazel's mom does not know about Gus in the book. Gus is, in the movie. And Gus is the one who's like, can I talk to Hazel for a minute?
I know, I didn't like that. as a mom, you would immediately tell the other parent going, especially if you know they have a cancer kid.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
I know. Yeah. Why would?
So I didn't like that at all.
Yeah.
It
Could
is
you
what it is.
imagine then being the Hazel's mom finding out that the kid that you're traveling with also has cancer and you had no idea? So like, what if something happened on your watch?
Dude, I know. And she like let them just explore all the time. She was very trusting. But anyways, okay, so
Book mom knew that they were dying.
yes, that was the difference.
Movie mom does not know.
Yes. They get back home and they're all hanging out with Isaac, and they found out that Monica hasn't even called him yet. And this pissed Gus off. And are you gonna cry?
I mean, kind of.
Is that why you turned your head?
Oh, I just realized that we're getting close to him dying.
Oh. So they went to go egg Monica's car, and Monica's mom came out, and Gus had a great speech to make her feel awkward and go back inside. And it ended by saying, and Hazel never took another picture of Gus again. And I was like,
He's died. Finally.
okay, I just want to say, Monica, I can understand her breaking up with him, right? They're high schoolers.
Yeah.
That is a big commitment, because then once he is blind, it's the same as Gus. Like, how do you end it then?
Yeah. Yeah.
But not checking in on him,
Yeah.
that's kind of crappy.
Yeah. But also, like, think about it. Like, sometimes with exes, it's better for the clean break. Yeah, there's a different condition here, so you should have checked up on him. But this also could have been her thinking,
I guess that's true.
if I don't do the clean break, he'll think that.
There's more.
Mm-hmm.
That's true.
That's why when I read this part, like, I love the egging scene, don't get me wrong. But I do think it's more so Gus getting out his feelings and his frustration about his cancer
Oh, I definitely felt that, yeah.
than something that needed to happen against Monica. Because if your friends who were not dealing with cancer and not going blind were in a breakup situation and the ex didn't reach out, you wouldn't be going and egging their car. You'd be like, it's fine, go move on.
Yeah.
But this does happen in the movie.
Yep.
And the only difference is that in the book, Hazel doesn't get out of the car with them, but in the movie she does. But I think it's so that she can get out and like give him a hug and stuff.
All right. So Gus is not doing well. He's at the hospital pretty regularly, and Hazel wanted to go see him, but his mom's like, we really just need to be a family right now. My mom was so pissed at that. I was like, Mom, it's exactly the same as earlier when Gus wanted to see Hazel, but her dad said no. She's like, but the parents know they're in a relationship. And I was like, I mean, that's true, but Mom, if
They're also teenagers. They're not like married.
I was like, Mom, if I was dying and I had a boyfriend, she's like, well, it's not like I would stop seeing you. Like, I could sit in there and watch and be with you too. I was like, oh, you're right, Mom. Okay.
Obviously, you're right.
I just thought it was sweet that she was rooting for them and wanted them to be able to see each other. Anyways.
What's funny is I think if the parents thought he was dying for sure in that moment, they would have.
Yeah, I think so.
But he's resting. This is just family. He shouldn't have your excitement around.
Oh, I saw nothing wrong with it.
Yeah. Yeah. Look at us. Being the adults in this situation. That's what happens when you're 31.
Yep. When he was released, they went and had a picnic date at the skeleton park. Oh, they went to like this park for the Amsterdam date.
Yeah, because that was a Dutch artist.
Yeah. And there was like skeleton on the ground that kids would jump on. And so they went back there now. Did you picture the skeleton how it was in the movie?
No, I pictured it how you did.
Like a statue.
Yeah.
Okay.
But it makes more sense since kids are playing on it, because I do this every time I read this movie, and I've seen read this movie. Every time I read this book and then watch the movie, and every time I'm always like, huh? But like, think about it. If it's a big statue like thing, how are these kids playing on it safely?
I didn't expect it to be safe. I just thought, like, I thought it was like,
kids were just
well, okay, like I thought, yeah, like, okay, it's a skeleton laying down, right? And they said they were jumping on the ribs to the head or something like that.
Yeah.
So yeah, you're climbing up the ribs like a ladder, or like, yeah, on top of it. And so it's like now, like, what are those? Almost like a rainbow an arch.
Oh,
and and so then you're on top of it, and you can jump to the, like, it's not safe, but kids are not safe.
Every time I read it, I'm always like, this does not seem like a safe play structure that people are letting their kids play on.
I wonder if it's a real thing, though.
It is.
And is that what it is?
Most likely.
It definitely is. So we should, not get at the movie for it, because they did it 100% accurate.
Well, I have a feeling they went and filmed there.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
Yeah. Sorry, John Green, for imagining your hometown's little funky bones
Differently.
playground. Not like this at all. But I do want to say that at this part in the movie, a conversation comes up that happens after Gus is dead in the book. And it's when Hazel, like, says, there's no way I can be healthy. Like, I'm dying anyway. But then she yells at her mom and is like, once I'm dead, you're not going to be a mom anymore. And that she says this because when she had the cancer really bad and thought she was going to die when she was younger, her mom told her it was okay to let go if she needed to, and then cried into her dad's shoulder and said, I'm not going to be a mom anymore. In the book, her mom immediately went, oh my God, you heard me. I'm sorry. Like, we need to talk about this. That's not what I meant. I obviously know I'm not going to be your mom. In the movie, she just was like, what? Why would you say that?
Right.
I was like, because you said it.
I know. So he's getting worse, and like so bad that like he's just taking a nap, but he ends up peeing the bed, and him and Hazel are talking, and Gus is like, he's sad because he's like, my life meant nothing. No, like nobody will remember me. Like I meant nothing to people. And she's like, you meant everything to me and your family. Like that should be enough, type of thing. And he's like, yeah, you're right, type of thing.
That happens.
Okay. That happened on their date, right?
Yeah, that happens on their date, and they don't talk. He didn't pee the bed.
I appreciate that. I feel really, really sad.
I know. Yeah, that was really sad. That was when I was like, oh, this is going quick.
Yeah.
Okay.
So Hazel gets a phone call at 2 a.m. and she assumes it's his parents giving the news. So she like almost cries, happy tears when she hears it's Gus. But he sounds terrible. And he's like, I'm at the gas station. I'm in trouble. Come help me, please. She's like, I need to call 911. No, please don't call 911. And she gets down there, finds out he wanted to buy more cigarettes, but he wanted to do it on his own. And he shows his tubes, which they put in the hospital. And it's infected. And she's like, I'm calling 911. She calls 911. And on the ambulance, he wants her to read him a poem. It's another point when I thought he was just going to die. On the ambulance when she's saying the poem.
Like he's just dead. It's happening abruptly. We're not getting a nice little haze.
Yes.
So that basically happens except for the poem. It's a sad scene, especially when he starts crying really hard and like punching his tire or steering wheel and says, I hate myself. I'm like, oh, don't hate yourself, bud.
It was really sad.
Oh, I'm sorry, buddy.
So Gus's siblings come to town, and it's super overwhelming because, you know, there's like 3 of them and they all have kids, and it's just like, oh my gosh. And Gus is just trying to stay positive, though, and him and Hazel are flirting and being goofy, and Gus's dad kisses Hazel's side of her head and whispers, I thank God every day for you. That made me tear up in the book.
Yeah. I mean, it's true. Could you imagine if you had a kid that was going through cancer and like there's one thing that makes him happy?
Yeah, definitely.
That doesn't happen in the movie.
Because his parents are not in it.
Neither are his siblings.
Nope. So it's Gus's last good day. He calls Hazel to come to the church because they're having a eulogy. Or to have. Let's try that again.
They're having a eulogy.
He calls to the church and asks her to write a eulogy. I love that she didn't think much of it. Like she's just like, because it wasn't talked about much in the book at all before that.
Yeah.
And she was just like, okay. Like I would have been freaking out. Like I would have been like, oh my gosh, okay. But like what the heck is happening?
No, I feel like when you're young and you have cancer and a lot of the people you know have cancer.
It's a regular thing.
Yeah, it's kind of like her saying, is your suit your funeral suit?
I guess so.
I bet you a lot of people have come up and said, hey, could you talk at my funeral?
Well, yeah, but talk at my funeral and come to the church right now and write my eulogy.
Yeah.
It's a little different. I'm going to die and I'm going to just, the casket's already here. The open casket. Just come on down. Any minute now. Anyways, so she does this, but her parents don't want her to go. They're like, we never see you anymore, Hazel. And I'm like,
this is really what happened
earlier.
This is like what got squished with the scene before she goes to the hospital. Oh no, this is the same. Never mind. Continue.
Okay. Which is like, that's so hard because I see both sides, right? You know, like Gus is going to die any day.
Mm-hmm.
So then they'll see her all the time. But she is dying every day, and their time with her is limited. And as a parent, you're like, I need every second of my kid. That would just be so hard. I don't know what to do.
Yeah. Well, it's also kind of like what she says at the beginning of the book. Her parents are telling her to go live her life, so she's actually living her life.
Yeah.
And now they're like, don't live it so hard.
Yes. Come home more, please.
Mm-hmm.
So she freaks out at them and says, Gus asked me to come to the church and write his eulogy. And then they're like, oh, okay, go.
Mm-hmm.
So Isaac is there too, and they both gave their eulogies, and they were so sad.
Yeah, they were. That happens.
And then it says Gus dies 8 days later, and I'm like, okay, at least I didn't have to be like
in the middle of it.
Yes. So Hazel's just pissed at all the people on Facebook saying how they will they'll miss him and what a great guy he was. And now we're at Gus's funeral, and Hazel's pissed off at all the God talk, and someone turns to talk to her, and it's Peter Van Houten. And she's like, what the heck? And it turns out him and Gus have been correspondents for the last few, Gus's last few days. And Gus said, I'll forgive you if you come and tell Hazel what happened to Anna's mom, which is the main question she had in the story that he never answered. So he rode down the road to the burial plot with Hazel and her family, and Hazel just was like, or he gave Hazel a cryptic answer for what happened to her mom, and Hazel got pissed and was like, get out of my car.
So this happens-ish in the movie. The difference is that Hazel drives separately to the funeral from her parents, and then
the funeral's at the burial plot.
Yeah. And isn't Van Houten just in her car? Or no, he comes and opens and gets in her car.
They squished both car scenes in one.
That too. Yep.
So we'll get he comes back.
Yeah.
He has not left yet.
Nope. There's more for him.
Hazel and Isaac are hanging out, and they're playing with their voice activated video game again, and this made me, I was sad. This is why I wanted the game in here, was for this scene.
Yeah.
Because they're just talking. There's like, they're making the character do all these silly things. And then it's like, hey, computer, I hate that Gus isn't here. And like, now they're like talking real things to the computer. I'm sorry, I do not understand.
Isaac's like, I don't either.
Yeah. It was like, oh. And Isaac asked, hey, did you ever get the copy or the sequel, the book Gus was writing? And Hazel's like, what? Because Gus had promised to make her a sequel when
they left Van Houten's.
Because he didn't tell her any of the answers. And immediately Hazel goes to find it at his house. But Peter Van Houten is in the back of her car. She's yelling at him to get out. But at the end, they end up having a chat about the book. And it turns out it was related to his life. And his daughter died at 8. Which, you know, now Hazel's like, no wonder he freaking so put off.
Doesn't want to talk about this.
Yeah, and I came dressed as his daughter who didn't make it to 16, and now I'm 16. And they say goodbye, and Hazel goes to Gus's.
In the book, Hazel is the one who kind of pieces it together and starts realizing, like, you had someone die of cancer, and then he goes into it. In the movie, he just kind of goes right into it, and it's like, I had a daughter, and she died. And then before Peter's thing is done, he gives Hazel the email that him and Gus had been sending back and forth.
But she didn't know that's what it was, so she crumpled it up
Mhm.
and threw it.
Yeah, because she was angry at him.
Mm-hmm.
And then she goes and just hangs out with Isaac in the back with the swing set.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, did you ever get the thing that... He basically makes her realize that Gus wrote something or emailed Van Houten or something.
Uh-huh.
And she realizes that's what I crumpled up.
Yeah.
And then she runs to go and read it.
I liked how the book did it better because they seem to have a better send-off with Van Houten and Hazel.
Yeah, yeah.
Because she kicks him out of the car in the movie, and it's like,
Mm-hmm.
he's done. She's pissed at him. He lifts his drink to her, which he
Yeah.
did in the book
Book
too,
too.
but it was like a nicer send-off.
Yeah, yeah. I agree.
She goes to Gus's house, and Gus's parents haven't been able to go down to his room yet, but they let Hazel. She checks his computer, nothing. She looks all over the house, nothing. And so she's like, please, if you find something, just let me know. And that did not happen.
Nope.
Okay. And soon she gets a phone call from Gus's dad. He's like, hey, we found a notebook, and it was by the hospice bed, and a few pages are ripped out of the front. And Hazel's looking everywhere. They go to the church where they did their fake funeral, and she's just in a bad mood. She's worried about her parents too when she dies, and they have like this lash out moment. But she finds out that her mom's going to school to be a social worker / counselor, whatever the guy at the we didn't really talk about it.
Oh, yeah.
The
no.
social like grief counsel. What is it? Gosh, what is it?
Why
we
can't
said
I
it like
think of
12
it?
times.
Yeah, jeez Louise, hold on.
Support group.
There you go.
Whatever the lead
Yeah.
support. She's like, you're gonna be
Patrick.
a Peter.
Patrick.
No, Patrick.
Yeah.
Peter Van Houten. Patrick. Yeah.
You're going to be a drunk?
And Hazel's the happiest she's ever been in forever.
Mhm. So this happens in the fight when she's trying to go give Gus his eulogy.
I liked it after.
I did too, because the whole time I was like, Gus just called you and now you're wasting like 30 minutes
I know.
going through this argument with your parents.
Plus, it felt more real because it's like now Gus is officially gone. So
Yeah.
it's like she has all those emotions of, oh my gosh, this is going to be me one day.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay. And then we finish it with Caitlin, her friend who came up one other time. They're talking about
2 other times.
Okay.
They went shopping together.
Oh, that's right.
And then,
I didn't put the shopping in here.
no, you didn't.
So they are talking, and she's like, I don't mean to be like insensitive, but maybe he was writing to some other person. And then it clicked. It's like, oh my gosh, Peter Van Houten. She contacts the assistant immediately. Ludwig goes over and to Peter's house, forces him to read this letter, and he told her send it straight back to Hazel because it's perfect. And it ended up being a eulogy for Hazel written by Gus.
That he wanted Peter to fix and make better.
I know, I loved his line. It was
I'm a shitty writer and a good person, and
Yeah.
you're a shitty person but a good writer.
yes. Because okay, in the book, did they do the same where when she was giving his eulogy, she had said, I wish you were giving my eulogy?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's why he ended up writing it.
Mm-hmm.
Couldn't remember if they said that in the book or not. Because I was like, clicks. That's why.
I do like the book ends with, because at the end of the eulogy, Gus says something about like, I hope she feels as loved as I do, something like that. And she ends with saying, I do. How have we not talked about the fact that they're...
I know. I was just saying, oh, wait, the okay part.
Yeah.
So throughout the entire book and movie,
Yeah.
okay is their like,
Always.
yeah. So what they say to each other mean like they love
Okay.
each other.
Okay.
So it's I love you without,
saying I love you. And they do it way before they're a couple.
yes.
But it ends with him saying okay and the eulogy and her responding back okay. And
Yes,
I like that
I
way
like that
better.
way better.
Mm-hmm. I agree. We did it.
We did.
And I almost didn't cry.
Good job.
Thanks.
So IMDb cast 25 people for this movie.
Mhm.
That's it. Okay. Shailene Woodley is Hazel.
Oh, she does so good.
She did a great job.
I love how sarcastic she is.
Yes, I think so. Yeah,
it's great.
All right, so Ansel Elgort is Gus.
I love him.
I did not recast anybody, but I pictured many different people.
Oh, yeah, I bet.
So, for example, I had 5 feet apart.
Oh, Cole.
In my head.
Yeah.
So I kept imagining Cole Sprouse. And so I still, like, I looked up who it was. Still, for the rest of the book, Cole Sprouse. And I think if I read it again, it will be Cole Sprouse still. But Ansel did great. My mom even said, she's like, they cast him perfectly. I was like, they did. He did a great job.
He is the sweetest. I love him. I guess I'll talk about this now. When I went to the Divergent red carpet, I was the most excited to meet him because he's Gus. And because he's kind of disappeared. He has a movie that just came out, I think. I can't remember. But when he was big on the scene still, one of the things that he loved was cookie cakes. So for the red carpet, I went and I bought him a cookie cake.
Oh my gosh.
And I wanted to try to give it to him on the carpet. And there is a video somewhere that now I'm going to have to try and find, of me trying to give him this cookie cake. We got him over to us. I went to give him the cookie cake and he was like, oh my gosh, you brought a cookie cake for me? And he's like, but I can't take this. And I was like, why not? You can eat it in the movie.
He's like, because you're a crazy fan that might have poisoned it. Oh my gosh.
He's like, I really appreciate this. This is really sweet of you. And I was like, all right, well, can I have a hug? And then he gave me a hug.
Oh my gosh. I just love the fact that you thought he'd take food from a stranger.
Because he's done it before.
Oh, that'd be so weird. I would never. Even if I became famous,
yeah,
I wouldn't take food from strangers.
Yeah, no, probably not. But
that was sweet
cake.
of you.
And then I ate the cookie cake, so win-win.
Exactly. You got your hug, you got a cookie cake.
And he like hung out with us for a good 3 or 4 minutes.
That
too.
is good. It's a win-win-win. Right? All right. Nat Wolf played Isaac.
I again was going to try and say it was the other brother doing this.
I don't know how I didn't recognize him. I did not until I did the casting. I was like, what? It was those sunglasses that threw me off.
That's true. What's funny is when I was reading the book this time, I kept picturing him as Isaac. And I was like, this is so weird. Why do I have Q in my head right now?
I kept picturing Radar.
Oh, funny.
Isn't that funny? So that's who I pictured. Even though, it did not match the description of the character at all, but that's who I pictured. So another not recast, but pictured someone different. But he did great. Yeah,
he did.
Laura Dern, Franny, that's Hazel's mom.
She is perfect. Again, I had her in my head when I was reading it, and I couldn't figure out why. And then I watched the movie, and I was like, duh, because she is Hazel's mom.
I didn't know who I pictured for Hazel's mom.
Yeah.
But it was a surprise when I saw her. But she did great. I liked her.
And she does good at the happy-go-lucky while also dealing with kind of heavy.
Yeah. Sam Trammell. Michael, which is Hazel's dad.
I love him. It's funny because I remember when this came out. I haven't watched all of True Blood, but I think he's a wolf in True Blood.
I can't believe you haven't watched it. And it's pretty much Twilight, but without.
I know. And I love Alex Skarsgård.
What are you doing?
I don't know.
I haven't watched a single episode, so I can't say anything.
I was just going to ask you because I thought with how you were saying that, I was like, what am I doing with my life? No, Sierra had me watch a few episodes. So that's how I knew him. So I went into it and saw him and was like, oh, I love him. But I think he plays a dick in True Blood.
Oh. Okay. William Dafoe. Willem.
Willem.
I said it right in my head and then my mouth changed it. Peter Van Houten.
He's been in so many of our movies that we've done.
I think he's only been in one other one. He was in Mr. Fox.
I thought he was in one other.
I don't know. Was he? Or maybe he was in one other.
I think he was. I can't remember off the top of my head.
I don't either. Okay, so he's been in 2 of our movies?
Yeah.
Okay.
I love him. He's perfect.
I know. When I was doing casting and I saw his name, I was like, what? No.
Mm-hmm.
And then they made him look how I thought he should look.
Mm-hmm.
Because if he looked like Spider-Man,
Yeah.
Willem Dafoe, no.
Yeah.
But they gave him the glasses and the scruff, and I was like, okay, that's how I pictured.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, good. Oh, gosh. Latte?
Probably a lot.
Okay. Verbeek?
Yep.
Played Liedewud. How do you say it?
Ludovic,
Ludovic.
I think. I love her hair. She's got great hair.
She does. She's very pretty.
Yeah, she was good.
Again, not who I pictured, but she did good. Not her recast.
Yeah. Is the theme of the book and the movie the same?
Yeah.
Why, yes, it is. Do the characters stay true in the movie to how they were written in the book?
Yep.
Mm-hmm. I thought you were going to say no. That's why I like your answer. Because of how we were saying Gus did certain things differently.
Yeah, but overall,
yeah,
it's the same.
Yeah, I agree. Which do we prefer, book or movie?
I like the book.
Yeah, I'm there too.
Okay, cool.
Mm-hmm.
And that does. We do need to know if you watch the book or the movie first.
I know, yeah.
I thought it would be easy and be like, I guess it wouldn't have either way, would it have?
No.
We really just need to know.
We just need to know.
We'll do a poll.
What's gonna help is us reading the script. I just realized when we were debating it earlier, I was like, oh shoot, I should have read it before we did this, because that would have, if it's exactly how the movie was, then I did watch the movie first. But if it's more like the book, so yeah, I need to read the script.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, guys.
So that was it.
Yes. We've got a mini-sode. No, we don't.
Nope,
we do not have a mini-sode coming at you this week.
I know. We're going to read the script, but we also just said we were going to talk about your birthday. So we'll see what happens. Well, we could do both.
I was going to say we can do both, and I also have discussion questions from The Fault in Our Stars, but I think maybe we'll do those. I don't know. We'll figure it out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's like a 2 month in a future Alli and Bri issue.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. That's not a me problem today.
Exactly. All right, you guys. But next week we're sticking with Shailene
and Ansel.
And we're doing Divergent.
Guys, I have a funny story about this. When I was reading The Fault in Our Stars, what I do is I always, when I get close to ending the book that we're on, I get the next book ready for me so that I can just hopefully jump right into the next one. And I grabbed Divergent, obviously, and I sat there and I was like, wow, the 2 stars are in both of these movies. That was accidental scheduling right there. That was great. And then I was like, oh no, you sat down and you planned this. You did that on purpose, idiot.
Oh gosh. Well, come find out how boyfriend, girlfriend turned brother, sister do acting with each other.
Mm-hmm.
It was very interesting to watch, I'll tell you that.
I know, I love it.
You do.
It's funny. They're such different characters too.
They are. It was very cool.
Mm-hmm.
It didn't feel awkward.
No, not at all. Especially since Shailene also has a different lover in this one too.
Yep.
As in another different lover. Miles is who I'm getting at.
Oh. I
Not
see what
4.
you're saying. I was like, yeah,
You're like,
I
yeah,
know
duh.
that.
She's not loving her brother.
Yeah, then Miles from
Spectacular Now
takes a jump back too.
Uh-huh.
Man.
Mm-hmm.
All right, it's going to be a fun one.
Yeah, it is.
Okay, so we'll see you Monday then.
Mm-hmm.
All right, and with that,
The Fault in Our Stars
went off script. Bye. Thanks for sticking with us.
We hope you enjoyed it.
If you did, we would greatly appreciate it if you gave us 5 beautiful stars, reviewed, and subscribed.
You can also follow us on Facebook at Offscript, on Instagram at Offscript Podcast 21, and on TikTok at Offscript_pod.
Shoutouts to Madam Ashen Creations for our adorable logo art.
And Adam Daniel for our incredible theme song.
And to Creative Cinephile Productions for producing our podcast.
See you next time.